Listen, them charges they charging X4 with, virtually impossible to beat, man.
Yo, we're gonna talk about X4 and how he's fighting the 3-strike law. As most of y'all know, X4 was charged with a robbery. Him and 2 other co-defendants. He would be arrested out of Burbank, and it's alleged that he was in the studio recording music. And when the engineer was mixing and mastering his music, him and 2 others would pull out a firearm and rob him at gunpoint.
I got charged with second-degree robbery, same charge they charging him with. Criminal threats, count 2. And personal use of firearms, same charge they charging him with, right? And you'll be like, well, the circumstances are different. Not improving the conviction. No, they ain't. Like, they don't even need a gun.
These last 4 years with crimes, if you come in with change and residents feel unsafe, like I have felt unsafe over the last 4 years, then you're going to be a short timer.
We finally have a district attorney that I call an eagle. And a low altitude bird is a turkey. And we just got rid of one. Of the county of Los Angeles.
Former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger swearing in the new DA, someone he has supported.
I think it's inexcusable that all of those kind of crimes were kind of like brushed down the table, and now people will feel the consequences when they commit crimes.
Hochman now officially the new district attorney. He says his job begins today.
Right now, as we speak, we're eliminating pro-criminal extreme policies.
LA's new district attorney tells Fox 11 he already sent out a memo across the DA's office restoring gun and gang enhancements while ending a ban made by the previous DA that prevented minors from being charged with theft if they stole under $950. Does that memo essentially wipe out most of Gascon's policies?
It wipes out his extreme pro-criminal policies. There were blanket policies.
In fact, they didn't even have one in my case. All they had was eyewitness testimony. A dude saying I robbed him, took his chain, and took his earrings. He said I put a gun to his face, right? That's all they need. They raided my girl's house. They impounded my truck. I lost that. They didn't find no ammunition. They didn't find no gun or nothing. All they had was eyewitness testimony, him saying that I had one. That was enough to charge me. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go up against Ms. Tilson, right? That's the DA. She picked her 6, I picked my 6. I go to trial. They offer me an outrageous-ass deal. 12 years is the deal with no gun. Like, hell no, take the gun enhancement off. I'll take 2 years. They're like, nah. They want to send you upstate for what you did. Here I am, 23 years old. If I go to trial and lose, I'm looking at 16. They like, well, y'all be like, damn, it don't add up. How you looking at 16 if you looking at 3 for the criminal threats, 5 for the robbery, a year prison prior, right? And then 10 on the gun. Well, it was 29 years when they was done with me, right? But the judge felt like because the crime, both crimes was committed at one time with one person, he sentenced me under Penal Code 654. Y'all better get up on y'all laws, which allowed him to run it concurrent. So I wouldn't have to do the 29 years, right? They still could have bust me over the head and gave me the 29, though. They got laws in them books. But back to what I was telling you, I went up against Ms. Tilson thinking I was going to beat it because they didn't have no gun. Little did I know, they don't need no gun. All they need is allegations. It's a wicked gun enhancement, and I'm telling y'all, y'all don't even know about it. It's called a 10-20 life law. 10 if you use a gun in commission of a crime, 20 if you fire it, and 25 to life if somebody's injured in the process of you firing it in that crime. Yeah, you heard me right. They don't even got to be shot by that gun. They just got to have been hurt trying to get away from you when you dispose of that gun in the air or wherever you shot that gun. They don't even have to be hit by it. It's an automatic 25 to life. Yep. So I ended up getting convicted, and the judge sentenced me to 16 years, right? I just came home a couple years ago. Listen, they don't need no firearm to convict you of that crime. So y'all picking up these guns, y'all better know these laws.
Sentencing of each of those crimes. Starting off with the second-degree robbery. As you can see right here, it says it's punishable up to 5 years in prison. But if you use a firearm, then they add 10 years on top of that 5 years. Which the penal code for them 2 firearm charges would be a gun enhancement, which would add the 10 years. And now we're gonna break down the 2 different penal codes that they charged them with for the 3-strike law. We're gonna start off with the 1170. As you can see right here, it's referred to as the 3-strike law. But this one mandates increased penalties for certain felony offenders. Specifically, it outlines how sentencing should be handled for individuals with prior serious or violent felonies, with mandatory consecutive sentences for current convictions. And now we're gonna break down the 667 one. As you can see right there, this would be a 3-strike law also though. But this one would be a sketchy one. This would be the one that Full Leaf lost trial to and got sentenced all his time. And as you can see right here, it's just an enhancement that applies to individuals convicted of a serious felony with a prior serious felony conviction. It adds a 5-year sentence enhancement for each prior felony conviction. So God forbid if he's guilty, he would receive 25 years in prison. 15 years for the robbery since he used a gun allegedly, and then another 10 years on top of that.
They don't need a gun to convict you of person use of a firearm that carry a mandatory 10 years. You ready to go sit a decade down? Go ahead, go and pick that gun up. Commit that crime. That DA ain't playing.